Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you guys a little update on my thoughts and whatnot about what I've been doing so far and possible options, because if you watched my IVF funding video, I'm not getting IVF funding. So currently I am trying to save up for IVF. I will have to pay out of pocket for everything. I don't have anything that will cover meds or anything like that. So everything will be out of pocket. I am trying to do an IVF fundraiser, puzzle fundraiser. So if you're interested, feel free to donate. The link will be popping up here as well as in the description box below. It's $5 to sponsor a puzzle piece. Your name gets written on the back, and then the puzzle is going to go up in a nice little frame in the baby's room. So anyway, so right now, like I said, I'm trying to save up for IVF funding. Or not IVF funding, IVF, I should say. Which right now is looking like it's going to cost me about $10,000 to $15,000. But we'll see. I have my appointment in January on the 13th, so I'll have more information then about exactly what it's going to cost me and what's going to be happening. Right now, I'm on the Vizan until the end of March, and then my plan was to go right into IVF, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to see if I can go on the Vizan for longer, because obviously going off the Vizan is not good. To go off the Vizan means that my endo is going to grow back and I'm going to have endo problems again, and basically the last 6 months of being on the Vizan would have been for just a waste. So hopefully I can just go on the Vizan for a bit longer, and then do IVF when I have the money, which I'm hoping for July. Hoping to do the IVF in July, maybe sooner depending on my tax refund. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, some of the other options. So if you haven't followed me on my journey, I have TTC'd in the past with a known donor. We know now that given my stage of endo and my fun uterus that's misshapen, IUIs and ICIs, which ICI is what I was using, is not going to work. So in terms of pregnancy, IVF, that's basically my only option in terms of getting pregnant. My dog is trying to be crazy. Can you not bite me? Okay. Here. Take it. In terms of other things that are not trying to get pregnant related, I have done private adoption, which I am still paying for. I am in a lot of debt from, because it's costly. If you've ever done private adoption, you know it's costly up front, and when things fall through, it's even more costly, and that's basically what's happened. Is I had multiple possible matches, nothing ever became of them, and I just wasted a ton of money. And then I moved back to Ontario. I was living in Manitoba at the time, and basically my file had to be closed because different jurisdictions and whatnot, I couldn't just carry it over. So that money's gone. In terms of international adoption, being single, there are only a couple countries that allow it. The one was Vietnam, I believe, and the problem with that is they have a very long list. It takes a very long time to adopt, and at any point during the adoption, because I am single, I can be bumped off the list. So I could be literally boarding the plane to pick up my child and get a call saying we found a couple to adopt the child instead. So again, lots of money, lots of time, just to be at risk of being bumped off. The other international country that I have looked into is Bulgaria. I actually had a meeting with an adoption agency back, I think it was in July. I'll try to post the link here to how that went. But to summarize, basically I was told I was too fat, and in order to adopt from there I would have to lose a significant amount of weight to do so. The good news is it would cost about, I think she said like $25,000 to $30,000, so significantly less in terms of foreign adoption, international adoption. However, the wait would be fast. So she said that probably within a year I would have a child. I would be adopting a child with Down syndrome. I would probably specify girl, because I just know that like there's certain things about Down syndrome, such as late potty training, that would be more easier for me to handle if I had a girl. So that I haven't completely written off as an option. I have in a way because it's so much money, and I don't know if I can lose enough weight for them to approve me. So I haven't completely scratched that off, and it's hard to say what's going to happen with the laws and whatnot, because international adoption laws are changing all the time. Maybe they're going to close them to singles, maybe they won't. The good news with that one is there was no, like, me being single wouldn't put me at a disadvantage. It would if I was looking for a healthy child, but not for Down syndrome. And I would probably get a child under 3. So that was really good, other than the whole, you need to lose a hell of a lot of weight in order to get approved. And the money. Like I said, the money is just, it's brutal. But I would at least have that as an option. Another option that I was looking to was public adoption. It is completely free. The waits are very long. The children tend to be troubled or special needs. I looked into sibling groups. Yeah, I know. I've talked about not wanting 2 kids. Wanting 2 kids, but not having 2 kids. But there's good subsidies for it if you adopt a sibling group. The problem with that is I don't think I could handle 2 kids. Like, we were at the gym today and I was watching the kids swimming. Like, there's like pool you can see from the treadmill. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way I could handle 2 kids. I also don't think I could handle the waiting. Working with a private agency is amazing because everything is on your own speed. So you want a meeting, you do your home study, bloop, 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 bloop. My home study from the moment I called, I think I called in April and I had approval by October. And a lot of that had to do with that the classes weren't until the end of May. So I couldn't have my classes till then. I had my first home study meeting at the end of June. And then I had my home study visit and my second and third home study meeting in the end of August. And then my final one in September. So I could have done it a lot faster if I wasn't living in the middle of nowhere. I was living in an isolated community, so there was a lot of scheduling issues, there was a lot of timing issues, whereas locally, it would be very easy. Like I said, I met with the agency in July, and I got in with her within the week from calling her. So she wouldn't be doing my home study, but the home study process would be roughly the same, where it would be very fast because you're paying for it and therefore they work through things fast. I would be totally doing this, 100% doing it, if it wasn't for the whole, you probably won't get approved because of your weight. It's very discouraging to be told basically that you can't adopt because you're too fat. So anyway, what was I saying? Public adoption so private adoption and international, I'm grouping them together in sakes of timing. With them, the process from calling them to home study being finalized and you're approved is very fast. You are on the speedy train. You get things done at your own pace, because if you want to take 6 months to do the paperwork, you take 6 months to do paperwork. If you're like me and you have it done like before you leave the city, you can do that. Like, it's much faster. The waiting is a lot longer in terms of private adoption. Takes a very long time. You're waiting for a newborn, you gotta be picked and whatnot. International normally would take longer. Like I said, she said that I would have a child within a year, possibly within a year of starting the process, but she said definitely within a year of being approved. And that's like take home child, because it's I think it's like 6 months or 4 months, whatever. If you watch my my video about that, you'll see, because I actually remembered stuff back then. But with public adoption, it is ridiculously slow. Ridiculously slow. Even if you want to foster. Like, I've heard of it taking like 2 years just to get to to become a foster parent. They are backlogged with cases. The workers are doing 500 million things. they just don't have the resources to get through things this fast. So one person I know who lives in Manitoba, who could possibly be watching this, her process seemed to take forever. It was like a year after she called and like did her application that she finally got to do the classes, and then it was like a year after that she got to do the home study. Like, it was ridiculous. And locally in this jurisdiction, I know someone who's doing foster to adopt, and it took like 2 years plus to get her home study done. And even though she's fostering right now, she's waiting like, I think she said almost 4 years now for an adoption match. And I asked her what her requirements were, because I wanted to see, okay, maybe I'm more open to things than she is. And no, they're just so slow. And there's different things like the Adoption Resource Exchange and stuff that I've heard that just, there's people expressing interest in children that just nothing happens with. It gets piled onto the social worker's desk, and then the child gets forgotten, basically. All these people will express interest, and then nothing ever happens with it. I just don't know if I can go through that. It's extremely frustrating to be like, I want this child, I can give them a good home, I'm applying for this specific child, and just never hear from the social worker, ever. Like, I don't know. I can't, as much as I want to, because it's free. I just don't think I can do it. So, anyway, my last and final option is to somehow be okay with living child-free. I know that's kind of like a dramatic thing to say, but it just, the money that I've spent, the time that I've spent, if you could live in my brain, oh, the last 3 years, I feel like I'm going crazy. I've always known, like, exactly what I want and exactly what I've been doing. Like, I've always known, like, everything. And then the last 3 years, I feel like I've been living just for a child, for the hope of a child. Like, I'm not even living anymore. It's just getting through day by day to try to get closer to a child. It's just frustrating to not live a life. Like, it's crazy. So, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. On the one hand, I feel like I could, because I plan on opening up a home daycare. So I would have constant exposures to infants and toddlers all the time, which is my favorite age group. So I would still get that, like, baby fix. But on the other hand, I want to experience taking them places, like to Disney and on cruises, and like having this little thing to call my own. So, I don't know. It's just frustrating. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I honestly don't. I'm probably going to try to save for IVF, even though I don't want to. I don't want to spend so much money, especially, say for instance I spend the $10,000 on IVF and it fails. If I had put that towards international adoption from Bulgaria, I would have been halfway there, or almost halfway there. And then I could have adopted from Bulgaria. But, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh, guys. So, pretty sure I am down to either IVF or Childfree. I honestly don't think I could go through adoption. I can't deal with it. Like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I think if IVF fails, I might try to pursue public adoption just because it's free and I can just sit on my hands and just wait it out. But that's pretty much it. Like, I just don't feel like there's good options. I don't know. It's just frustrating. So frustrating. But pretty sure that's what I'm left with. So, right now I'm trying to save for IVF, which will be hopefully in July I can do IVF. That's my goal right now. If I can't do it for some reason, or if it fails, I will try to do public adoption with trying not to be stressed about it. Trying to live at the same time. So, because I know the process is going to take forever, I would probably try to save money to do trips and stuff, try to pay down my debt, try to buy a house so I can do, my home daycare, stuff like that. Like, try to keep living a child-free life, and then if I happen to get a child through public adoption, I happen to get a child. But if I don't, I don't. And possibly try to get on an IVF funding list, but if it fails, it depends on what happens if it fails. If it fails because I can't get enough embryos, then obviously doing a second round probably isn't going to make a difference. If it fails and it's just because that was that one embryo transfer, I would probably try to save and transfer as many embryos I have left. Because after doing the initial IVF, the other embryo transfers aren't that much. But anyway, I've been rambling for a very long time, pretty much about nothing other than I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know how I'm getting to where I want to go because I don't know where I want to go. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please, suggestions are more than welcome. Please post them down below. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye. So this is my summary of my Forks Over Knives dinner week. This was not as good as previous weeks, but still.